we gotta talk about something serious for just a second. If you haven't heard by now, Piero Del Luca of Mad Fabricators videos, YouTube channel, he had a pretty massive heart attack and had I think it was a quintuple bypass surgery. He's doing okay, from what I understand. I'm not friends with Piero, but I feel like I should be, and that we would if I ever get the chance to run into him in real life. His videos really influenced a young hot rodder when he first started doing those Mad Fabricator DVDs, and gave me access to stuff that I never would have had access to growing up here in the Pacific Northwest. If you're from here, you know that we don't really, there is a car culture, but it's different than other places. Especially if you're into traditional hot rods, there's a very small group of dedicated traditional hot rodders in the Northwest. And while we're all very hardcore, we're small, so there's not a ton of exposure to that stuff. So my point is how important Mad Fabricators is to me and really to all of us. Piero has changed hot rodding with his videos and exposed all of us to just cool shows and cars around the world. So I think it's time that we help Piero. There's a GoFundMe that has been started, and I'm gonna link it in the description. If you can, go there, donate, $20 if you can, $50, whatever you can, $10, $5, whatever you can. It's not about the amount, it's just about helping the guy. He's gonna have a lot of bills. He's self-employed, owns his own business, from what I understand, and it's gonna be hard for him through the recovery to work, and they're gonna have a ton of bills, and if we pitch in, we can help alleviate some of that stress that he doesn't need right now. So, link in the description if you can. If not, maybe just go watch all of his videos. Just put them on. You can walk away. Just stream all of his videos on YouTube, just on repeat for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Not joking. Yeah. So yeah, if you can, go help him. And, that's why this is called, they didn't know this was going to happen. It was just a fluke thing. It's called the silent killer, heart disease like this, because you don't know about it. So go get checked out, and donate you can. So Piero, I want to thank you for all your videos if you see this, and really hope you get better soon, man. And hope I can shake your hand someday. So take care, man. Howdy, y'all. Matt here, Seattle Speed Shop. We've been absent for a few weeks. I apologize. I hit epic levels of burnout with just rearranging the shop and cleaning, organizing, plus getting ready for the Portland swap meet, which is this weekend. We are in stalls 6139 to 6143 at the Expo Center. I'm getting a lot of really good questions, and that's kind of what this video is about. And it's basically kind of posed as, what kind of top end do these things have now that they've been modified? And that's not a very simple answer. I'm going to try and explain it, and we'll go from there. So stay tuned. Well, the first thing you really should know is a stock Model A in good condition should be capable of 60 miles an hour. And if your stock Model A is not, your restored car is not doing 60 miles an hour, either it's not tuned correctly, something's wrong. They're fully capable of 60 miles an hour. That being said, you're not going to be pulling a hill at 60. That's flat land. You're not going to be passing semi-truck. You know, you're very slow. That's max. The benefit you're going to see from performance modifications to Model A are the speed with which you get to 60. And yes, you're going to be able to do more than 60 if you take the fenders off. So that's kind of the trick. I think some people might be a little confused about what you get when you put a 39 transmission in versus a Model A transmission as well. We'll take a more in-depth look at a 39 transmission versus a Model A in a future video. But basically what you need to know is that third gear in a Model A or a 39 transmission, they're both 1-to-1. You're not going to be lowering the RPMs by doing a 39 transmission. And you're really not going to see any difference in how the car performs at speed with that transmission. They perform the same, you know, the ratios in third gear are the same. That being said, there are some differences in first and second and synchros, stuff like that. We'll go in depth in that in a future video. But for now, just assume you're not going to suddenly get more top end speed by switching to a 39 transmission. It's not going to happen. It's not what you're doing that modification for. If you want extra gears or an overdrive, you need to consider a different transmission or perhaps a overdrive unit such as a Mitchell. For different transmissions, maybe you could look at one of the 80s F-150 transmissions that's basically a 3-speed with an overdrive for a 4-speed. From what I understand, parts are getting pretty hard to find for those transmissions. So that may no longer be a viable option unless you get lucky and find a good transmission. T5s are a great option. They have some drawbacks or modifications needed as well. Mitchell, of course, is great. There's some older overdrive conversions that seem to be pretty good. Columbia 2-speed rear would be really cool. So there's lots of different options. You can even just, you know, get rid of the stump puller Model A gears you've got and go to 354, which I think is probably a good option, and we may explore in the future on my truck. All right, so you've done all these modifications. Downdraft carburetor, high compression head. You got yourself a pretty hot Model A now. Maybe even put a 39 trans in. And you might be thinking, man, this thing's going to do 100 miles an hour. And it might, if you take the fenders off. It's been my personal experience that a full fendered Model A, it starts getting pretty sketchy above 60 miles an hour. And I would say 70 is about as far as at least I want to push it in one of these. Now, don't take what I'm saying as your car's still going to drive like an old stock Model A. It's not. The amount of power increase between idle and top speed makes these cars so much more drivable. It's an incredible difference. And really, I think that's where Model A's are most fun, is tooling around the city or country roads at, 45, 50, 55 miles an hour, or surface streets 35 miles an hour, maybe 40. I don't find that I need or want to cruise one of these at 80 miles an hour for 2-3 hours at a time. That's just not what these cars are about or what they're for as far as how I build them. Part of the problem with driving one of these things at speeds above 60 is the fenders they start flapping all over the place. there's not a lot of weight on the front end with a banger motor. You know, they might drive a little bit better with a heavier engine in them. But I feel like the fenders are kind of the limiting factor. They're MC Hammer pants. They're giant parachutes just catching the wind. And, you know, once you get, 68, I really start noticing, at least on this thing, that it gets very floaty. And that's about as far as I would want to push it with fenders. That being said, rip these babies off. I think this motor is well incapable of going over 100 miles an hour in the right car. This one just isn't it. So I don't want you guys to be disappointed after you do all this work to one of these things, and maybe you're not getting what you're expecting out of it. They're faster and they're not. What a way to not answer that question. You know, I think that if you've driven a stock Model A at 60 miles an hour and then you drove my truck at the same speeds, you'd be like, oh yeah, it's a completely different vehicle. You've got the power to be able to pass someone if you wanted. You can pull a hill without losing speed. It's definitely like a more modern car, but the RPM that I gained from the cam swap and the power, I can't use it all the way. This thing is far more capable than I feel comfortable driving it on the freeway with fenders. And you know, we may have to tear them off one day and just speed test this thing to see what it'll do. Until that time, I'm probably going to keep it at 60, maybe a little bit more, but I'm definitely not going to be passing anyone in the fast lane at 80 miles an hour. So I hope that kind of answers your questions a little bit. It's one of those things that's I feel like a lot of people expect you do these mods and all of a sudden you've got a car that drives like it's powered by a small block Chevy, and that's just not how they are. They don't work like that. So I just hope that kind of informs you guys what to expect. Little sneak peek, as you can see, she's kind of torn apart. I broke it. We will get into that in a future video. She will be back on the road soon. It's nothing too major, but the engine's coming out. Yeah, so real quick, I kind of want to just show you the rest of the stuff that's being worked on. We got our lights in the tool area, so thank you for that, Texas Matt. Got us a plug here and lights plugged there. So that's really great. Matt's invaluable around here. I really can't say enough good things about him. Working on this in here, we got stuff kind of set up. Matt again sheathed this wall and installed the lights, and you can see our sketchy wiring here. This is all getting built out for a door opening in the future when I find the right door. So that's kind of semi-temporary, and we'll actually be on a wall. So don't scream in the comments because I don't care. Yeah, and then I've been rearranging over here. You can't tell really. This is all new. We turned all the rows of shelf to be going the same way. I moved all these axle bells and axles and drive shafts and torque tubes and wishbones. Moved all that. That's some of the stuff that really took it out of me this last little bit, and moving all these engine blocks. That's 12 of them I did. That was a lot of work, and then getting ready for the swap meet, taking up a lot of time. So that's kind of where we've been at. So really excited about the compressor shed, or whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it the champagne room. So on top of that, I dug that thing out and been working on it. Brakes, electrical work, stuff like that. Nothing too crazy, but just trying to get it back on the road. And this week's big prize is this. Runs and drives. It's a 73 it's a C750 Ford, 21-foot flatbed with a lift gate. Runs and drives. Got it for free. Not really sure what we're gonna do with it yet. Car hauler, over 4x4 swap it overland with a camper and be able to haul a car on the back. I don't know. Got any ideas? Maybe just turn it into a dump truck. I don't know. A rollback. It'd all be. There's a million things that'd be pretty cool. So got that. We got this for free, an old square body Chevy trailer. It's gonna be a scrap trailer around here, kind of. Yeah, I don't know. There's tons of stuff you guys have missed, but that's kind of the highlight reel. Yeah, so I think we'll call that about it. We'll be back next week with a lot of more content. I got a lot of content coming. Even though we haven't been posting videos, I've been recording. I've been working on stuff, just trying to keep things going. But yeah, like I said, I was whooped the last couple of weeks as far as putting a video out. I just had no interest mentally. I wasn't there for it. So I'm feeling real good about where things are going with the shop now. So I feel like we're heading in the right direction. So another news, I got the artwork back today for our first shirt. Hopefully we'll have some of those printed up here soon, and I'll get to share that with you. I think you guys are gonna like it. It's pretty cool. So I'm real happy with it. So we'll leave it at that. If I see you at the Portland swap meet, or you see me, come say hi, introduce yourself. I don't bite. Yeah, other than that, hope you guys have a great weekend, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Taking off tomorrow for the swap. So 6139 to 6143 Expo Center. We'll see you there. Take care, guys. Have a good weekend.